Over the last 14 weeks, my colleagues and I at All Things Business have been doing our very best to provide you, our audience, with some interesting and sometimes entertaining online content. A lot of that has been focused around our series called An Evening With, where we've reached out to business leaders from Northamptonshire and Milton Keynes, as well as sports professionals, to ask them that when lockdown is lifted, which 3 people would they take to dinner and the reasons why, past or present. With the exception of Tiamana Harrison, who chose 4, but my colleague Fraser was too scared to tell him, even though it was done via Zoom. Anyway, the last 14 weeks is going to go down in history, really. We are still feeling this as a business, as many other businesses are across the country. But I hope that you, our audience, have found that some of the things that we've been doing, whether it's been An Evening With, ATB Arms, or some of our other business-to-business interviews, that we've given something back to the local business community. And as lockdown is lifted, I would like to think that everybody will appreciate the local business community that little bit much more now going forward, and you'll be encouraged to buy and support local businesses. We do, however, have one last surprise, and that is a very special An Evening With. And this is with a gentleman that has really galvanised and inspired our country over the last 14 weeks, simply off the back of doing something very noble and charitable, with the initial aim to raise £1,000 for local hospital. 14 weeks on, £45 million on, I'll give you An Evening With Sir Captain Tom Moore. Thank you for joining us. Sir Captain Tom, good afternoon, and good afternoon, Hannah. How are you?
Fine, thank you very much.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Very good, thank you, sir. First of all, thank you for taking the time to speak with us. Before we go on to ask you this very famous question that we've been asking lots of different leaders across Northamptonshire and Milton Keynes over this last 3 months, I understand you've set up your foundation. Tell me about the foundation.
This is a foundation which is for the people who are not well, for lonely people, for people in homes, people in anywhere who are in difficulties. We are there to help them in any way that we possibly can.
We are aiming to inspire hope where it's needed most, because Tom, as you know, became a beacon of hope around the world. And this foundation is there to support those who are facing bereavement, combating loneliness, and particularly local hospices, we hope.
Excellent. A very noble, very fitting. Thank you. So, Captain Tom, as lockdown is slowly becoming lifted, if you could go for a meal with 3 people of your choice, past or present, who would they be and why?
Well, yes, I have that. I mean, if you chose 3 people, first of all, with Mahatma Gandhi, who was such a force in India. I spent a long time in India, and I know all the good work that they do, and eventually he gave his life for his good work, but he has been a beacon of hope for the very poor people in India. Now, the second person would have been Nelson Mandela, who I've been to South Africa several times. I was there the first time. I don't think Nelson Mandela was actually in the forefront then, but I've been since. He was again a man who had high principles and set out to help the poorest people in the country, and because of that, he was put in prison. I've seen where he was put in prison, on the island which was called
Robben Island.
On Robben Island, and
it's a desolate place, isn't it? It's a truly desolate place. If you go to Robben Island, it moves you from the inside out. And the third person you take would be
with Sterling Moss, because here's a man, just a principled young man. I mean, I followed him from when he was riding little cars with motorcycle engines in the back, where he started, and he was turned out to be a star. And again, he was a man of principle throughout his life, even after very dangerous accident. He was a man of principle, and wherever he went, he was a gentleman racer. He was a very good person for the countryside.
Sterling Moss was the third and final guest. What a table.
What a great table that is, Captain Tom. A table full of inspirational leaders that have affected the world and the sectors that they've represented in different ways. And you'll be pleased to know that you've actually been on many people's guest list to be on their table of four actually as well, purely based on what you've done and how you've inspired the nation over this last 3 months.
So that was your table we'd all like to be on that table, a very inspirational table, but you have also been nominated to be on lots of other people's tables for everything that you've done for the country.
Excellent.
You haven't asked me where I would have that table of Gandhi, Nelson Mandela and Sterling Moss. That would be the Raffles Hotel in Singapore, because that I understand is where the original John Collins drink originated from a Raffles, either Tom Collins or John Collins, whichever you choose to call. But apparently, according to information I got, that originated from Raffles in Singapore. That's how I would like to all my guests to Singapore to Raffles.
We shall certainly spread the word on that, Captain Tom. Thank you. So on that note, Captain Tom and Hannah, just on behalf of all of my colleagues here at All Things Business, we would like to say a deep thank you for your time. And also, I think I'll speak on behalf of all of the business leaders locally to just say what an amazing man you really are.
Thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say that. I'm honoured by those kind things that people say, but nothing's changed. I'm still, if you like, Captain Sir Tom Moore. Nothing's changed. I really am still Captain Tom.
But this time, Captain Sir Tom, you're everyone's Captain Sir Tom, aren't you?
That's right. Yes.
That's right. We shared the story, and we're just a normal family, and we just did the best we could, and we supported him to become that beacon of hope around the world. It's amazing.
Brilliant. Because we've got some dogs, and they don't understand. They don't understand I'm Sir Tom anymore. As far as I'm the person who gives them treats.
We offered to polish his shoes, and we're practicing our curtsying. But apart from that, it's all just the same.
How many dogs have you got, Captain Tom?
How many dogs have we got? How many dogs do you have?
Two. We've got two dogs at the moment, and that's probably enough for us at the moment. But I've always been very interested in dogs. All my life I've had different dogs, and we've got two lovely dogs here now, and I get on so well with them, and so does everybody else. They don't belong to individuals. They're family dogs.
Brilliant.
As far as they know, they belong to us all.
Brilliant. Okay, well, on that note, thank you again, Hannah. Thank you, Captain Tom. And I hope to see you soon in the flesh when lockdown is lifted once and for all.
Definitely. Take good care. Lovely to see you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.